Welcome friends! My name is C. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a layered buttercream geode cake. This particular technique was based heavily on the works of Sean Forrest Roberts, whose information I've left in the description below. Let's get started, shall we? First thing you're going to do is mix up some cake batter and bake your cakes. Here I've got vanilla cake batter, but you can do any flavor of cake that you'd like. Trim the tops so that your layers are nice and flat. Then discard your scrap pieces of cake for munching later. As you can see here, I've piped buttercream around the outside of my first cake to keep the raspberry jam filling from squishing out. If you've chosen to make a cake that's just filled with buttercream, then this step is unnecessary. You can just go ahead and fill your cakes like normal. It's important to make sure that the buttercream you put between your layers is nice and level before you continue stacking your cakes. If it isn't level, then your cake might lean in the end. On goes the next cake. Once your cake is stacked, you're going to go ahead and do your first coat of buttercream, otherwise known as a crumb coat. It's okay if your crumb coat ends up being just a little bit messy, because we're going to go ahead and cover it over with more buttercream later. Once you've got it roughly smooth, you can go ahead and put it in the fridge and let that first layer of buttercream set up a little bit. Though I wouldn't leave it in the fridge for longer than 10 minutes at a time. Next, you'll start doing all your other colorful layers of buttercream on top. Here, as you can see, I've chosen to do several different shades of purple, varying from light purple all the way to a deep, dark, rich purple. It's easiest to do this process with your bench scraper and your offset spatula. Once you're done applying your final layer, you want to press the bench scraper in just a little bit further than you normally would, because you want to pick up some of the other colors and smear them along the side. It gives your cake a nice marbled effect when you're done. And if you're like me where you ran out of buttercream at this point, you can go ahead and scrape the excess off of your bench scraper and smooth it across the top. The best part is carving into the side to see all the different designs that your layers have made. I used a small offset spatula for this part of the process because I wanted to have more abstract holes instead of proper ones. If you do want more proper holes or designs in the side of your cake, you can go ahead and use wood carving tools, but make sure that they haven't been used for carving wood. If you've got pre-existing wood carving tools, it's better to go out and buy a fresh set, because you don't want to use something that's been carving wood to carve cake. To help my cake actually carve and not smear, I've placed it into the fridge for about 30 minutes. That way you get nice clean strokes instead of smearing your buttercream all over the place. It's easiest to start with a few larger carvings and then go back and do smaller ones. If your cake starts to get too soft to carve, then you can go ahead and pop it back into the fridge and let it refirm before trying to carve it again. The striations that this technique makes are absolutely beautiful, almost like a sedimentary rock. Now you'll want to smash up your rock candy. When you're smashing your rock candy, you want to try and get as many large, jagged pieces as possible. To do this, I just used a plastic bag and a meat tenderizing hammer. For this particular cake, I went with white and purple rock candy, but you can choose your rock candy colors based on the color cake that you've decided to make. Now you'll fill each and every carving with just a little bit of rock candy. If you were to make this style of cake without the rock candy, then I would definitely recommend carving in a design instead of doing something more abstract. That way it looks a bit more cohesive. This particular buttercream technique based on Sean Forrest Roberts pottery has been around for a little bit now, but I'm not exactly sure where it originates. If you happen to find the original video where they used this technique on a cake first, I would love to see it. Please post it somewhere in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe. Yes, seamless segue. Oof. The next step is to paint the edges of all your carvings with just a little bit of luster dust mixed with almond extract. It makes for a really pretty opaque silver color that makes the cake just pop. Though if you'd rather, you could paint all of the edges with gold too, instead of silver. This process is the most time-consuming part, but it's definitely worth it in the end. Then that's it, you're all done. Behold, the layered buttercream geode cake. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.
That's my question to you. What are you doing?
I'm sorting the meat off this bone.
Oh yeah, get that meat, baby. Why wasn't I just doing this earlier? Bags. Just smear it up the side like I'm smearing a turd up a wall. That's how I was trained. Don't ask. Oh no. That was too much pink. Where did that come from? It seems like you're trying to scare me, is what I'm getting out of it.
Where did that red come from?
I mixed freaking pink and teal to get this exact shade of purple, so I don't know where it came from. There should be no red, and there's red.
How the ever-living shit?
Fucking color theory, I guess. Balls.